Designing a brand seems simple enough, but to be honest, this seems to happen to all of us. We start designing and then we're stuck on ideas. Now, designing an umbrella company that has 3 brands underneath it does not make that any easier. Now, when this project first landed on my desk, I was excited. It seemed simple enough, create a brand identity for a parent company where the main brand is SPD Financial Group, and then underneath it is Wealth and Trust, Mortgage Solutions, Insure and Protect. Cool, create a brand identity for each one of these sectors. So on paper, it seemed simple. But then I started to ask deeper questions. Not questions such as, what would your logo look like? It was more of one question that I kept asking. How would your brand look tomorrow? How would your brand look when your brand starts to grow and new sectors are introduced? Will this brand identity still stand the test of time? And that question that I asked changed the whole trajectory of this project. Because the client wasn't thinking about these things. They just wanted a nice logo to easily identify their brand and their sectors. And so they wasn't thinking on this scale. They wasn't thinking to this depth. So these questions that I introduced changed the whole way that we did this project. The first idea for the logo was a shield, right? SPD saw themselves as like a family, and all of these different groups and sectors were parts of their family, and so they thought of a shield. And within those shield, each of the different parts of SPD Financial Group were there. For example, a quilt for wills, a house for mortgages, and so on and so forth. But then I started to ask the question, how does your brand look in 5-6 years, in 10 years? Maybe you have 5 sectors now, each of them doing different things. What would happen to that shield? Would that shield still stand, or would that logo now become obsolete? So then that logo becomes obsolete, and then that logo becomes just a collection of symbols. And so I communicate that to the client, say, hey, I'm not just thinking about here and now, I'm thinking about 10, 20 years down the line, and it's about creating a logo that stands the test of time. Because a logo, I was telling the client that a logo should not describe everything your brand does. It's not meant to say, hey, you are a painting company, here is a paintbrush. No, it's all about getting across the message and the feeling of your brand and what message you're trying to portray. A logo is just something that should be iconic and easily recognizable, So this breakthrough happened because I stopped thinking about just that singular logo. Rather than designing 4 different identities, I started thinking about the framework. And what if their logos or their branding fell under a system, a framework, So then I thought to myself, it's all about creating one structure, one family, one visual language, and all the brands fell underneath that, Now this became the challenge, because this sounded nice in theory, but in practical it was quite a challenge. So then I was just thinking and looking down the rabbit hole and exploring different ways of doing this. I was looking at brand identities that had similar styles of this. I was looking at the FedEx logo. I was looking at the Amazon logo. Amazon has so much different parts of Amazon, but they kept it all the same. And so I went down that rabbit hole, and then I started thinking of kaleidoscope and those mirror kind of effects that happen. I said, hey, because essentially it's one main logo that's kind of like a mirror reflection. And so that's where the idea was born, where we say, hey, we're going to keep this style. The client loved it. We're going to keep this style. It allows the family, the visual language to be the same, just changing it to match, for example, the house, using the paper, and all in that same family, and it all reflecting, and having the main logo can have small little pieces of each of the other logos. And so because the client was adamant on the main logo and having small different parts of all the other logos. And so we was able to work using this framework. Hey, same typography, all of them have slightly different colors to match each of the sectors, but the color palette all working together. That was another challenge as well, was making sure that the color palette, each of the brands has a separate color palette, but the color palette was able to work together as a whole. That was one issue that we went across. But yeah, so that was the solution that we came across, and it was just perfect. Now, the 3 lessons that I learned in this project is 1, most designers focus only on the logo, and businesses care about systems. They care about how the business will grow and the brand identity grows with them. It's not just about that singular moment, but it's about designing for 20 years, 30 years down the line. The second lesson that I learned is that the best solution isn't always the first solution. And honestly, the show direction was an easier route to go in, was safer. But because of who I am as a designer and my integrity, I wasn't just caring about pleasing the client now. I was thinking about their business in 10, 15 years' time. And so sometimes you have to push back and say, hey, this is not the best solution, because the client didn't hire a pencil pusher. They hired a strategic partner to help deliver and grow their business. And the third lesson that I learned is that great branding creates great opportunities. From this opportunity, another client who has a pharmacy that also wants to do a pharmacy and a community center intertwine, say, hey, this really matches our current problem. And so great branding creates great opportunities for clients to come. And sometimes the project that gets you the most opportunities doesn't always pay you the most, but it's a case study. And sometimes you have to say, hey, let me pay myself forward. Let me do a project. Maybe I don't currently have the case study for it, but the client may not have a lot of money, or maybe you're currently starting out in your career. I would take that project for a great case study. Then in the future, a client that has 6 times, 10 times that amount can able to see that you were able to deliver it. And so great branding creates great opportunities, and sometimes you just need to pay yourself forward. And so that's my lesson from this whole project was, hey, paying yourself forward. And also was about the client didn't come and hire a pencil pusher. You're not just there just to draw a logo, post on social media and keep going. No, you're there to solve a problem. And that's how you're able to show your worth and increase your prices, because you're not just desiring pencil pushing. You are a strategic partner to help them grow their business. And for your branding and your services, you're able to create systems for them for their future. So many brands come to me looking for systems. Hey, I love how the systems you made, I need the same. And so that's what I would say. If you guys like this video, like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. My goal is always to deliver more videos like this that helps out you as a designer that's starting out. So yeah, man, stay creative and stay offbeat. Peace.